Hi, this is Jeff Mapes. I'm a political reporter at the Oregonian. I've also been helping Noelle Crombie, who's our real marijuana expert, covering that issue. I've been particularly down at the legislature a lot. And there's been a lot of developments over the last few weeks, and we got a big date approaching in marijuana policy, I guess you would say, in the state, and that's July 1st. What's that day going to be like besides we're probably going to see some big parties, right?
I think we're going to see some parties. We're definitely going to see celebrations. There's one planned for the Burnside Bridge at midnight on July 1st. That's the day when anyone 21 and older can possess and cultivate marijuana. You'll be able to possess up to an ounce away from home, 8 ounces at home, and households will be able to grow up to 4 marijuana plants. Of course, the rub here is this is for now going to be kind of a give and grow system. There's no way to legally purchase cannabis. The OLCC isn't expected to roll out its program on sales until next year.
Yeah, which probably brings us right back to the legislature, and that's kind of the part that I've been covering. And because the OLCC, in fact, they kind of keep moving things further back. I think when Measure 91 passed, there was an assumption that retail sales would start in January of 2016, and now they're talking about the latter half of 2016. And that's put a lot of pressure on legislators to talk about what they're calling an early sales program, where they would allow medical marijuana dispensaries to sell a limited amount of products, basically dried marijuana, to adult consumers while the OLCC is getting their system up. So an adult could go into these medical marijuana dispensaries and buy it for this temporary period of time. And in fact, it would even be tax-free under the legislation that they're contemplating. And then they're also moving toward a sales tax. If they do an early sales program, it would be 25% sales tax in January, and then the permanent sales tax would be up to 20%. So it shows you when you're talking about marijuana policy how some things change on that.
You mentioned the dispensaries. We've got about 300 medical marijuana dispensaries in the state now, licensed dispensaries in the state. What are you hearing from them? I know there was a hearing recently. Are they, do they feel they've got the inventory to meet
Boy, they really want to be able to sell to recreational consumers. You know, they kind of overbuilt a lot of, I mean, there was sort of a gold rush fever on this when the dispensaries were first licensed, you know, a year or so ago. And so they've been pushing legislators really hard for this. You know, really my sense is the decider in all of this is going to be the governor, Tate Brown. You know, obviously her signature would be needed on a bill, and so far she hasn't said what she's going to do on that.
What are you hearing about the hemp movement and the ability to grow hemp? That was a long fight to get to the ability to grow hemp, and it kind of blew up in Southern Oregon, didn't it? Yeah,
it really did. And in fact, just this week, it looks like the legislature kind of you know, weighed in on that, what they're going to do on that, and that's basically to put a pause on this industry. You know, it's so amazing. For so many years, you know, marijuana advocates, they've always talked about what a great substance hemp is and good for just about, you know, a huge range of products, and how it's ridiculous to prohibit it. But as soon as it became evident that some hemp farms would open up down in Southern Oregon, you know, which is a very, as you know so well, is a very valuable marijuana growing area, they became very worried about cross-pollination, that male hemp plants would cross-pollinate medical marijuana plants, really, you know, ruin the potency of them, and as a result of that, the legislature has come in with a bill that says, well, we're going to allow, you know, people who have permits, and there's only 13 growers so far, allow those people to reapply, and if they meet some tougher criteria, then they can go ahead. But otherwise, we're going to shut things down for 2 years, put kind of a moratorium on it, will we study this further and make sure that there aren't conflicts. So this is one really where it turns out there's some conflict between the hemp and marijuana growers, and the marijuana growers definitely have the high ground here, or the more powerful position. Yes, so to speak. All right, well, I think with that, we've gone not only over our take 3, we've gone over our 420, and it's time to say goodbye and look for us for another episode.